One, two, three, one, two, three, and a place to be. It's your player partner from the bottom of the map. Uh, yeah, before we get started, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you can be notified anytime a video drops. If you will, hit the comments. We will hop in the comments with you. This is another solo shot from One Israel. Um, Ike Hayes is busy doing Ike Hayes things. But shout out to everybody who's always tuned in with us. You know the gang, always rocking with your boys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all keep doing y'all thing. Um, keep representing. Um, the title of this video that I wanted to do because I've been pondering this, and I guess you have Miami fanatics, um, people that kind of don't care about what happens on the field, and they're just gonna support whatever, right? They're not gonna look at any of the facts, anything that you see, nothing in reality. They're just crazed fans. All right, every fan base needs those, right? They're just blind followers. Then you got those who are critical of the program, but they're gonna support and ride or die, right? And the program needs that too. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the majority of people. Then you're going to have some of those, you know, who people would call haters because, you call it like you see it. And there's a group of those, and some people are with the haters, the so called haters, and some people are throw rocks at the haters. And then I think you have the category that I have fallen into, which are the apathetic fans. We're just kind of over all of the bullshit. Either way, it's just like, and it's starting to get to the point to where being a fan has lost its muster. And I think because we've over the years we've put something on Miami that I'm looking back, I don't think deserved to be had. The title of this is Miami really an elite program, or we're just living off the name? We built the name. There was an elite program back in the day, and we're an elite program no longer. And the facts, if you look at facts and you look at history and you look at um, what is happening season after season after season, the conclusion is right there. Like it's literally there. And I've been saying this, and I think I'm going to start rolling with this. I do think Miami is extraordinarily talented every year. You see players come into the program. You're just like, man, that's a dynamic player, explosive, just great talent, athletic, speed, power, whatever. We see this year after year after year, but the results are what the results are. And at the end of the day, I feel like, I know this is gonna sound like some more hater, you not with the program shit, but I'm starting to feel like we're just Penn State, we're just Nebraska, um, we're just USC, but we're in the ACC. That's what we are. We want to be the title contender. We want to be the powerhouse. We all feel that we should be, and we could be, and we will be, but it never happens. And at a certain point, you just got to start saying, like, we're really a five. We think we're a dime. We think we're a 10. We're really a five. And all the stats and everything shows that we're a five. Now, this is how I came to this conclusion. I said, you know what? How are we any different than Nebraska? So I just went back, a la South Coast came, man. You got to do your homework. Once you do the homework, you just like, this is the conclusion. Even though the conclusion isn't what I want it to be, it is what it is. So you go back to Nebraska, right? since 2010. 2010, they had, hold on. I know everybody's gearing up for Stanford and getting. This season is a wash to me. I'm not even worried. This is like bigger picture. Now I'm starting to go into the bigger picture of what this program really is and what we're going to be looking forward to the next, I don't know, 5 years, 5 more years with Mario until like we get an elite level everything. Not just elite players, not elite position coaches, not elite head coaches, athletic director. It's about elite head to toe. And that's how you build a perennial powerhouse. All right. Not just, something from 25 years ago. But anyways, you look at Nebraska. They had 1, 2, 3, 4 coaches since 2010. Bo Pelini, Mike Riley, Scott Frost, and Matt Rhule. They've had 1, 2, 10-win seasons since 2010. 1, 2, 3, 9-win seasons. They've had 1, 2, 3 bowl wins since 2010. All right. They look at Penn State. Since 2010, they had 1, 2, 3 coaches. They had Joe Pa, Bill O'Brien, James Franklin. They had a 13-win season, so we got to give them that. They've had 1, 2, 11-win seasons, 1 10-win season, 1, 2 9-win seasons since 2010. And they've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bowl wins since 2010. And they have 1 Big Ten championship. Nebraska has since 2010, they were in the Big 12, and then they transferred over to the Big Ten. No Big 12, no Big Ten championships. All right, let's look at USC. USC since 2010 has 1, 2, 3, 4 coaches. Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, Clay Helton, and Lincoln Riley. They've had 1, 2, 11-win seasons, 1, 2, 10-win seasons, and then they've had, that's it. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bowl wins since 2010. Since 2010, and since 2010, they've been Pac-12 champs. Let's see, once. So since 2010, they got 1 Pac-12 championship. Penn State has 1 Big Ten championship. Nebraska has none. Now let's go to your Miami Hurricanes. Since 2010, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coaches. Randy Shannon, Al Golden, Mark Richt, Manny Diaz, and Mario Cristobal. Since 2010, we've had 1, 2 10-win seasons, 1, 2 9-win seasons. We have 1 bowl win, no ACC championships, and I believe we had 1, 2 appearances. Hold on. Let's see. We've had. Did we have any appearances? We have 1 appearance. But so when you just line up the numbers, right? You just line up everything. What makes us different than Nebraska? They have a crazed fan base. Nebraska has 6 national championships, all in the past. 5 national championships. Their last one was 1997. Um, they had, you look at their history, they got a long history, and um, Corn Husker Nation is crazy, and everybody remembers, Tommy Frazier and, those squads. But it's all from years past, nothing recent, and they've always tried to find something to make them relevant again. They, went and got Scott Frost, and now they got Matt Rule, and they go and get this quarterback and this guy and that guy, and it just never pans out. Um, Same with Penn State. Um, let's see, how many national championships do Penn State has? Penn State has two. Their last was in 1986. USC has 11. Their last was in 2004, 2003. But as you can see, since 2010, ain't neither team sniffed nothing. Miami's last was in, before USC. But nothing since 2010. All universities carry big brand. I would say Nebraska and Penn State brand as far as their fan base is bigger than USC and Miami's, respectively. Even though I would say USC has a big brand, national brand, so does Miami. But Penn State, just because in that area they don't have anything else. Football is a major thing. Nebraska, of course, football is probably all they have. So when they're playing, they're packing out the stadiums. Miami, our fan base comes and it goes. We have peaks and valleys with our fan base depending on how well the university is doing. I can't say that we travel. When I lived in Atlanta for a little while, I would go to the games when they played Georgia Tech. And it wasn't like there was huge, Miami fan base there. You would see fans there for sure, but it wasn't like, hey, this team travels. But anyways, all that to say is Miami really is, my conclusion, they're Penn State. They're Nebraska. They're USC. They're a team that carries a big brand. They get elite talent. They can have spots here and there, but they're not really going to really make any. And I think if we approach our team like that, we don't get so high or we don't get so low when we have losses and we have this expectation of undefeated seasons. I don't think nobody expects Nebraska to go undefeated. We get 8 wins. Nebraska get eight wins. That's a good season for them, right? 9 wins. You get to a bowl game. You win the bowl game, or you have a great showing in a bowl game. It's a good season. You get to 9 or 10 wins. That might be a great season. But the reality of you winning your conference, especially now that they're in the Big Ten, is they're probably never winning. Especially now that you got Oregon and Washington on top of having Ohio State and Michigan, and they're never going to win it. Penn State's probably never going to win it. If they do, it has to be a magical season. It isn't a norm. Every year you're going to look for Ohio State. You're going to look for Michigan. You're going to look for Oregon. You're going to look for Washington. In the Big 12 back in the day, you're always going to look for, recently until they, it's basically been split up. You're always going to look for Texas. You're always going to look for Oklahoma. And then you would throw in the Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, TCU, Baylor. But Nebraska probably was never going to win it. USC probably had the fairest chance in the Pac-12, when it was Oregon and UCLA and Arizona State, Oregon State would be, but it was primarily, it was Oregon. And then when they absorbed Utah, it started becoming Utah. But Miami was like, as much as we wanted to, we were never going to win it. It's always going to be Clemson. And it was for years, it was going to be Florida State. And then you would have these random years where Pitt or Wake Forest would win. And now when it's kind of wide open, where it was there for us to take the reins and get a stranglehold on the ACC, it's kind of still up in the air. It's like up for grabs. SMU can get it. Georgia Tech, Louisville. It's like who wants it? Because everything is there for Miami to become the perennial dominant like team and become not a one-off, not a we got it this year, to become the perennial dominant team in the ACC. And we're not taking the lead. And it just puts me in the mind of Penn State, puts me in the mind of Nebraska, puts me in the mind of USC. We've had these great, in the past, Heisman Trophy winners and, great Hall of Fame players and, players who changed the game. You can't talk about the game without talking about certain players. Tommy Frazier, you can't talk about, college football and not talk about the run against Florida. You can't talk about college football and not talk about Reggie Bush. And, of course, you can't talk about college football without talking about 2001. So like we know what all these universities have been. Even Penn State, we'll give them, they're being, through the 80s and having, great teams. You could talk about great players that they've had, LeVar Arrington and, they've had great players. But at the end of the day, I do think the universities and the football programs are just living off their names. If you really want to be a perennial power, with the money that's going around now, you can't have loyalty to anyone. Loyalty goes to the best. And I think all of Miami fans and college football analysts think Miami should be one of the best teams. But year after year after year, we underachieve, we fall flat. We don't look like we're going to be the dominant player. We've been in the ACC for 20 years. 20 years and we haven't won one. We haven't won one. And those are just the facts, y'all. That's like the old heads. Say that that's just the facts, Jack. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just calling a spade a spade. I'm calling a duck a duck. And if you guys feel otherwise, let me know, because this is the black hole I'm going into right now. I'm going down this hole, and I damn near feel like it ain't gonna be no return, because this team is not showing me anything else. Right? This team is not showing me otherwise. This team is not saying, "Hey, we can get to a big bowl, a January 1 bowl. We can get to the college football playoffs." Right? In the past, it was always, like I said, we're playing in the Pinstripe Bowl, the .com bowls. We're playing in all these random bowls. We're not playing in the Fiesta Bowl. We're not playing. Those were years past. The past 15 years, we haven't seen a January 1 bowl. If we have, please remind me, because I don't remember. I don't remember it was a game where Miami was playing and that was the only game that was on. And it wasn't before Christmas. Let me know. Because otherwise, right now, man, what else am I supposed, like, what else are we? Y'all tell me what we are. Y'all tell me what Miami is. What Miami really is. Don't go off of this is your team. If you go off of what is happening, you look at the conclusion of each year, the coaches we've had, the players that we've had, and you compare us to anybody else, and I know a lot of y'all don't like comparing, but it's football. I'm gonna stack it up against who we gonna stack it up. Florida State has had better years than we've had. Fuck Florida State. I'm glad they lost to Stanford, but they've had better years. SMU is fresh to the conference. Fresh. They've already made the ACC title game. Fresh to the conference. Rhett Lashlee is like saying, well, shit, if nobody else wants it, we'll take it. You know, we know that Clemson is having down years. Dabo is having, they had a stranglehold on the conference for a minute. We know that Florida State's having down years. It's been a while for Florida State, too, but it hasn't been as long. They got a recent national championship. Shit, they damn near could have had another one if Jordan Travis didn't get hurt. Shit, they were 12-0. 12-0. Shit, he got hurt the last two games, and their defense carried them. Their players just didn't play in that game against Georgia, and they went and got smacked. But they had a 12-0 season. We ain't had no 12-0. We should have had 12-0s, but we ain't had none. And I would say we've had better players by far. I would say the only player that they've had in the past 15 years that I say has been better than our players is Dalvin Cook. And I would say Jalen Ramsey. But that's it. I would go across the board and say we've had better players across the board. But they've had better results. So it's just like, what are we doing? What are we after these games? What are we complaining about? What are we looking at? Until this team decides, until everybody top to bottom decides to say, we're either going to be the 5 or we're going to do what it takes to be the 10. To be the 10, you may have to be all about vanity. They can say, fuck being, having a good personality. It's all about looks. Fuck your moral compass. We have to beat you 70-3. We're not taking the foot off the gas. We have to be dominant in every way. That means if a 9-win season don't cut it, we firing you, and we're getting somebody who wants to win 11 to 12 to 13 games. Who's proven, who's going to do it. But until then, we done been through it. We had Randy Shannon. I loved Randy Shannon. We had Al Golden. He was supposed to be the, culture and bring professionalism back to the team. We had Mark Richt, who was supposed to be what he was supposed to be in Miami pedigree, and more Miami pedigree, and Mario, more Miami pedigree. All right. But the results are still the same, yo. Still the fucking same. And until we prove otherwise, I'm just gonna start calling it what. When we lose these games, I'm shit. Nebraska lose. What are we expecting? To play like ACC champs? To play like perennial college football powerhouse? That's what you're expecting? Because we the record doesn't show that. The record shows what we middle of the pack. We like a C- to a B-, and everything in between. So we could be a C 1 year, we could be a B 1 year, and that's really about it. We ain't had no A+ years. We've had A+ players, we've had A+ games. We ain't had no A+ years. And shit, until till further notice. What y'all say? What do y'all believe? I know y'all probably gonna call out coaching. You're gonna probably call out athletic directors. You're probably gonna call out, we've been able to get this quarterback and that quarterback. I don't give a damn. When you look at the records, if this team has more bowl wins, more conference championships than we do, they have more appearances to the playoffs than we do, or we're all the same, but they just got more. They got more bowl wins. They go to a bowl every year and they win occasionally. We have one bowl win. I think there was, I want to say in the past 15 years, we might have two. Might. But I mean, when you're losing the Rutgers and, uh, Wisconsin beating the brakes off you year after year, and you're losing to Iowa State basically at home. It's like, come on, man. A duck is a fucking duck. And I know y'all listen to Coach Hayes and Coach Coop and all them guys and Pate and all. A duck is a fucking duck, and it's time to call the duck until they say otherwise. Once they win a ACC championship, then they look like they're the team that's always going to win the ACC. And when they don't, you look at it crazy. When Clemson is down, we look at this shit crazy like, damn, Clemson is down. It's noticeable. Miami being up is noticeable. So, oh, they're back. Oh, they're up. They're good. That's noticeable. That should be the norm. But because it isn't the norm, like, we're surprised when they play to their average, when they play to the mean of what the team is. So these losses the losses shouldn't be unexpected because that's what they've always done. We're hurt by the losses because we expect more. But it's like, why would you expect more for something that doesn't? It quacks. You expecting it to roar like a lion. It's not a lion. It's a duck. It wants to be a lion, but it's a duck. So when it quacks like a duck, you're like, oh, shit, I thought you was going to roar, but you're quacking. Well, ducks fucking quack. So, yeah, y'all probably not going to feel this one. But this should play a partner for the bottom of the map. And I'm out.